Pay me what you owe me, I don't want no less. Pay me what I'm worth, I don't want no less. Pay me by the minute, could pay me like you meant it. We ballin' for the chip and they just playing like it's scrimmage. Not a handout, stand out. I'm the man now.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, this your brother, man, Eric G. Yo, welcome to season 5, y'all. I'm doing season 5. This has been 5 seasons of me doing this shit. Hey, yo, welcome to season 5 of Random Thoughts with Eric G, man. And yo, I am excited to get here. My last few seasons has been amazing, and I am glad to finally come back again. Being on a little hiatus, took me some time out to clear my head, get myself together. I did a couple shows here and there, but I am back. And y'all, so the best way to start this show off, man. This season, I'm gonna start off. This season, I want to do something different. I want to have more in-depth conversations, go in deep. I want us to have fun. I want us to laugh, maybe cry, but get that shit out the way because I don't do that sappy stuff all the time. Hey, but y'all, I'm excited to be here, and today's gonna be a great episode, man. I got this wonderful sister, man. I met doing podcast. This is her first time on my show. I did her show. We had a very intellectual, emotional conversation, which to me I felt was great. And we're gonna continue that on my show. So let's get ready for it, man. Yo, let me go ahead and do the intro, and we're gonna get started. All right, y'all. I'm back, man. Yo, let me bring in my first guest, man. My first guest of the season. Hey, y'all, this is a wonderful sister, man. Hey, yo, she called herself a bona fide witch, but I don't believe that shit. Hey, yo, man, I want to bring her in real quick. My sister, Goddess, what's up, baby? What's up?
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. How you doing?
I am tired as well. I don't think 48 hours is even enough sleep.
48 hours?
I need about
4 hours.
Minimum 48.
Hey, yo, wait, look, man. Before we get started, y'all, this is a morning episode, man. This is I'm doing my first episode in the morning, and because I feel like we got some heavy shit we're gonna talk about today, Goddess.
Yeah, we will.
We'll talk about some heavy shit, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate through it. We're gonna have a good time like we always do. You know what I mean? You talk.
Absolutely.
Yo, so to kick me off, man, I got me a little Starbucks Frappuccino.
I got my drink. It's ready. I got a Starbucks cup.
Starbucks cup?
Yeah. I was gonna do coffee, but over the last few months, coffee doesn't taste the same as it did before. So water it is.
Hey, I got you. So before we get started, I want everybody to know that I met you through doing podcasting, and you have a great podcast yourself. You want like to talk about it for a little bit?
Unhinged While Anchored. It's a product of Healing Out Loud. It's in transition. We've spoken, and I had a really hard-hitting conversation with another friend of ours, and I'm making a few changes. I'm gonna bring it back to genuine me. Just my Transparency Tuesday will just kind of be whatever it is, just whatever's on my head, whatever's on my heart, and just a way of releasing, because life is lifing.
And man, that's what it's gonna do. It's gonna life. You know that. Hey, yo, so a little bit about your background. I know that I said you based out of where? I think it was LA. I mean, not LA, California,
Arizona.
Arizona. All of it's a desert.
Yes, it's a desert.
Hey, you was new to podcasting. This is You've been
Yeah.
making your rounds. This has been a hell of a year, haven't it?
It's been a few months. It's only been like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah,
You,
I went like way into the deep end, and I interviewed just about anybody that I could get in the chair. And I realized that that was kind of my introduction. It wasn't really my show. It
right.
was just kind of everybody, hey, here's Goddess. Let's have a conversation. And it was my way of getting to know people. That's how you get to know them. It's just talking to them. So I really didn't do any interviews. I just had conversations.
But that's the best part about having this type of platform that we can have these open conversations where
Right.
we can learn something from each other and then we move on to something bigger and better.
Absolutely.
All right,
It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
so let me go ahead and say this, Rick. I already know what it's gonna be, how this episode gonna go today, y'all. So today is my. I want to start off with something that we really need to talk about. Like I said earlier, I want to have conversations that's real and authentic. Conversations that I don't normally have on this show. I did a mental health episode. So excuse me, a mental health episode back in season 2 when I talked about my own personal journey. But I never just got on camera and talk. Um, this episode today, I want me and you to be able to move on from my last conversation we had on your show, which was very in depth. You want to talk about how that conversation went?
We talked a little bit about my childhood, just kind of my true origins, and just a little of what I've been through. You know, one of the reasons I decided to start podcasting is because of the way that I can see the world. You know, I see the ugly, I see every single thing, but I can still find beauty in it. And I think that's something that's really needed right now. You know, even as I go through my own issues that we'll get into, um, I I still recognize how amazingly blessed I am. You
Right.
know, I still recognize that love is magic. I still recognize that it's a bad day, not a bad
Mm.
life. And um, that's kind of the voice I want to put out on my show.
And I respect that. I respect it 100%. I respect that. Like I told you before, I'm glad that you allow me to be the person you talk to about that. And we have personal conversations outside of podcasting, and I'm glad that we able to connect that way. Um, and on today's show, I want us to go ahead and get into it because I want to peel the band-aid off. I don't want us to be like ah. So before we get started, y'all, let me just put this disclaimer out there. I am nobody therapist. I am nobody's counselor. What I am is a friendly ear and a nigga who have issues just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
And what we and what I'm gonna do, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna have a general conversation. We're gonna talk about some stuff that we're gonna talk about the ups and downs of life, how we battling through it. I mean, we all have been through shit, and I'm not gonna lie and say we haven't. I have too. Um, but it's how we allow that to how we don't allow that to overcome us and how we can break through it. Because I tell everybody it's a brighter side to life. I mean, we just gotta go through the bullshit to get to it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And we never know when it's gonna come. We feel like the darkness is gonna last forever, but it can't.
Right.
It can't. It gotta be some light on the other side of it. Like I said, the galaxy is big and dark, but there's the sun. Uh, so, guys, you ready?
I was born ready.
Let's take a deep breath.
All right. Let's make sure we're all good. You
Hold on.
know,
Let's get it. All right. So on your episode that me and you did, which should be coming out soon, we talked about your childhood traumas, situations you've been through with your mom, your stepdad, your actual dad, and then we went on to family issues that you had, and then from there we touched base on relationships that you experienced in your I think teen years to adult years, right?
right.
Right. So
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is now we're gonna see if you would like to open up and tell more stories, we're welcome to do it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about it, vent it out, and then we're gonna try to figure out what's next.
I
So
think
go ahead.
I think that anywhere is kind of a good place to start because
Gotcha.
it all ends up in the same place.
Yeah.
So take me where you need me.
Gotcha. So we talked about, I think when we left off the situation about I want to say, was it about your daughter's dad?
Mm,
Did we leave
I
off
have
that
3
one?
daughters, so
Well, I mean, well,
the
the
youngest
one,
one.
yeah, the one you said that was sick.
Hey, check chat.
Say again.
Check the chat.
Okay, 1 second. Sure.
My
Oh.
daughter's father
Oh.
is
Mm.
dealing with cancer, and he got some bad news that it's kind of spreading. So we're dealing with that. And it's been a really, really difficult situation that I'm trying to stay positive in because I don't want to put those negative emotions into it because that's only going to make it worse for him.
Mm.
And so it's like I'm not giving myself the chance to process it either. And so that's kind of one of the pillars that I've been dealing with that you guys have openly seen me falling apart over the last couple of weeks, because I have been very transparent with every single emotional breakdown that I've had. And it's scary to do that because people judge you, and then people judge you as a parent. Like somehow me saying I'm having a struggle right now compromises my love for my kids. Those are not mutually exclusive. It's not that I can't do and handle everything at one time. Sometimes I just stop and I can't move because I'm trying to take on too much.
Right. And when taking on too much, how do you try to balance it? How do you try to figure out, okay, how do you try to like, I can't say the word, but how do you try to like put everything in order from what's going on?
I don't have any kind of way to really release, because I don't have a lot of people that I can trust. The way that I talk, my imagination plays into my words. I speak with a author's pen. And so I get a little flowery and far-fetched in my explanations. Like I can see the witches, and I can put all of those into my story, and I don't feel it's bad. But because society is very black and white, I'm seen as crazy. And I don't think that that's fair because I'm just trying to write my life the way that is easy for me.
Right.
And I'm being forced to live it through other people's expectations. And that's hard.
So here's my thing is with that though. And I know it's hard to say stop, don't do it, and whatever. I mean, it's easy for me to say that and doing it two different things. But when do you get to a place where you can say, look, enough is enough, man. You can't live to somebody's expectation. You can't be what everybody wants you to be all the time. You have to learn how to separate what everybody want versus what you want from the situation, right?
That's what you guys have been seeing over the last couple of weeks is me just trying to battle that, me trying to determine who I am without fear. Yes, I fell in love with somebody. Yes, I call him a demon. Yes, he broke my heart, but I still am absolutely in love with him. I don't have any anger. I don't carry those kind of emotions. Just because the relationship failed doesn't mean he changed as a man. I still find him incredibly attractive. And I don't like being judged because I'm expected to hate him. Why?
Well,
That doesn't
well,
make sense to me.
well, I don't think that you should hate somebody. I don't think you should hate them at all. What I think though, that what you should do is allow yourself to be free from them, though. You know what I'm saying? And being free from a relationship, especially when it didn't end on your terms, is hard work. I understand that. It's very hard work. But I would rather for you to learn how to release that. I mean, release your feelings from it. You get what I'm saying? And separate you from it.
I have a blog,
Yeah.
a hidden one now,
Hmm.
but where I've cussed him out. You know, I've written everything from my perspective and how I felt during the relationship. I'm just somebody that I can see where I went wrong too, where I wasn't supportive, where I could have been better. So I hold myself accountable. So I'm processing both sides of this relationship. So that way when I get to a place like today where I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to move on from this,
Hmm.
I have fully processed the baggage. I'm not bringing it with me. And so I've learned over the last year through him to hold myself accountable and not just point fingers and blame him for what he was doing to me. What could I have done? What was I doing? And even though he still holds fault for his actions,
Hmm.
I also hold fault for mine. And so I'm trying to be that kind of adult. I'm trying to bring that kind of ability to other people because
Hmm.
we are so distrustful. We instinctively think people are just out to get us because we never let go of the past. And so I'm just trying to create a way that I could process in a smaller window and move on because I do want love. I do want a relationship. I do want all of that. I just don't want to blame the next guy because of this guy.
Exactly. Which I respect. Since we already talked about it, we talked about your relationship with your current, I guess, current ex. You want to say? Um, so whew, on our last conversation, we talked about a lot of. We talked about your past relationships and how they kind of affect your viewpoint moving forward. I guess with each guy. Um, Coming to this relationship with your current ex, did did you bring any? Do you feel like you brought baggage to it?
Absolutely.
Got you.
Absolutely. I had just, when I met Demon, I had just started my healing process 3 days before.
Mm,
Um, and when I met him, it was a whirlwind. Like even before I met him, I just wanted him to know everything about me. You know, I couldn't explain it that even his display picture in the dating app that I had, there was something about his eyes. I couldn't get away from his eyes. And it was just this unimaginable connection that I had to him. And I broke all my own rules. I had a 2 week rule that you had to talk to me for 2 weeks before I would even agree to meet you because I'm very cautious.
right.
I like at April 6th, we connected. I met him on the 9th, you know, and I, the first time he touched me, I lost my words. Like I had never experienced that before. And then he kissed me that first night and I moaned.
Mm,
And it scared me because I had not connected that fast to somebody before. And so, and it just got even weirder from there.
mm. So one thing you said was that when you met Damon, you was on the start of your healing process.
Yeah,
You were three days in. I think that one thing that, and I'm not saying you in general, I'm just talking about me too. I remember that years ago, I was in this. I think I told you on your show. I was in a really bad relationship. You know what I'm saying? And it was no physical stuff like that. 'Cause I don't do the hidden shit, and we don't do all that. But I was in a really bad relationship. You know what I'm saying? It ended. I mean, she had cheated on me, and I'm the type of person I don't deal with the cheating stuff, man. Look, we good. But from the results from that was a lot of bad situations. I had a stalking situation where it ended in court.
Mm-hmm.
And I never in my life been in a place where I felt so vulnerable because as a man, I'm always known to stand up for myself and I'm good, which was crazy because it was a lot of bad situations coming out of that stalking situation. Was that especially when you getting like I remember I remember I got like shit in 1 month, probably like 100 different numbers calling my phone.
My
And
ex-husband stalked me while I was on a date. He
mm,
sat, he came in the restaurant, caused a scene.
mm,
I laughed at him, and he
mm,
went out and sat in his tow truck in the parking
mm,
lot waiting for me and my date to leave
mm.
because him and I were separated at the time. So I understand. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to turn
No,
that
no, no,
around.
no, 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 no.
I
You're not.
completely
I
understand.
already talk because the reason I say this because I'm gonna tell you how I learned how I had to grow from the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, at that time I was in my mid late 20s, and my thing was, look, I'm a protector. I'm always been a protector. So I feel like you can say what you want about me. I can fight it, but I just didn't like they was coming after my family.
Mm,
And to a place where when I say I was getting like at first at the beginning you didn't know who I didn't know who it was. I even questioned my ex and she was like, I don't know what's going on either. And I mean it was crazy because I was getting death threats every single day. I mean, death threats. I mean, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to break in your house. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this, that, and third. Any girl I talked to, they started coming after them. It was a crazy situation that lasted, 2 years.
wow.
It lasted 2 years to the point where I could. It got to the place where I had to. I got to the place where I had to literally drive with my gun because I didn't know who was coming after me. I didn't know what was going on. I felt so low because I've seen it was affecting people around me.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I had to learn how to grow from that because I wasn't going to allow somebody's words to hurt me. Now, that wasn't that what I couldn't do. I couldn't allow somebody's words to hurt me. And even though it was a lot of stuff, I mean, they put me on dating websites that I would never like. Look, it was crazy. They put me on. Here's the crazy shit, guys. I'm gonna tell you the truth because we're being open right now. I remember one time they put me on Craigslist. They made
You.
they put me on Craigslist as a damn what was it, the personal shit on Craigslist where
Yes,
you can find love
I
and shit.
I had an ad created that said that I was open to have sex with strangers.
Yo, hold on, here's mine. Mine said for men and women. I was like, the fuck is
Well, at
going on?
least you're versatile. You know, that's
No,
good.
fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Ain't no dookie shoot over here. No offense. No offense.
I I completely understand that though. I've had some obsessive people too. Um and it amazes me. And looking back on it now, I understand it better, but I just it's amazing the amount of control people want to have over somebody.
And so, but by me saying that though, and sharing that part of my story, because I never told too many people, excuse me, about that. I never told nobody that I went through a bad situation, which left me. It took me a while to overcome it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me a while to overcome it. I was a mentor for kids. They put out there that I was a child molester. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a lot. So I took an emotional hit for a minute. But what I had to do was find something that's bigger than the situation for me to overcome it. You get what I'm saying? So what I did for me, now this ain't for nobody else, it's just for me. I had to really reassure my relationship with God. That's just for me. The reason why I did that because I need something that's bigger than me to take control of the situation. Because I'm over the place. I'm over the place right now. I'm ready to fight. That's my goal. When I'm back into a corner, I just fight. So I'm ready to fight. So I need something bigger than me that take the situation, because you can't fight somebody who's just making a phone call and you just can't. You don't know.
Right.
So until I found out who it was, and it was another story. But no, but like I said though, I needed something, so I started praying more, and then I started working out because I gotta get myself together. I started working out, and then I keep praying and working out. I went back to college. I enrolled in college. I kept myself busy as I can be to preoccupy my mind from the situation what I was going through. Um, and that was my healing process. I had to learn how to get into that healing process. And let me be honest with you, what I felt at too was when I got out of that relationship, I'm like, look, I'm just gonna hook up with any girl that come at my way, man. I'm gonna we're gonna do it. Like, if she come my way right now, I'm knocking them down because I need something to release this tension. But then I realized, I don't need that. I need to honestly break away from it all. I don't need sex right now. I don't need sex. I don't need somebody clouding my judgment right now. So it took me a minute to get to that place. And then in the process of that place right there, I met my wife. Who my brother introduced me to. And he was like she's just like you, whatever like that. But I was afraid to bring my life to her. I was afraid. That was my baggage. I was afraid to bring it to her. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It took a minute for us to even get to the place where we was comfortable with each other, for me to express how I feel, and she was going through it with me. And that would got me to realize, okay, cool, there are actually decent people out here. You know what I'm saying? But I had to first find a healing spot for me.
When I met Demon, I was able to lay everything at his feet, but that wasn't what made it magic. Every time we would have some kind of conflict, I was able to relate it to some trauma in the past. And I was able to process my healing. So he completely triggered me. But it was in the best possible way, because every time he did, I unlocked and unraveled a piece of my spaghetti. I'm big on the Lady and the Tramp thing, and so I could never be mad at him because he was helping me. So I was recognizing this. And while I'm going through this relationship, I have everybody telling me he's using me. He doesn't want me, and so I'm dealing with these pressures from everybody coming in, me being me, and then the pressure of him being a jerk, and it just,
So I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question, and then and please don't take offense when I'm about to say this, okay?
I don't take offense.
Okay. Do you associate pain with love?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because
I used
I was
to.
thinking about based on prior stuff and this that I was asking.
I used to. I was raised in an abusive environment, so I am conditioned to just survive. But when I met Demon, he woke that part of me up, the part that I didn't even know I had. I was able to enjoy sex. Like it was really weird to me. And I didn't require a wand or some kind of battery operated assistance to find pleasure, even while with him, because I've had to do that with every other man I've been with. Just his touch alone was able to bring me to an orgasm. And that doesn't happen for me. So there was something significant with him,
Right.
and so I couldn't explain that to people because nobody understands. If you've gone 40 years without intimacy and you finally find it, you don't know what to do with it.
But do you think that the reason why you felt so much pleasure because you were starting your healing process? I think
No,
that you were starting to release, right?
no, it was
Okay.
him. And I don't want to take credit away from myself. I was open to receiving it, but the way that I connect with people is through energy. So something about him was really familiar. And I told you later, I realized that when I looked in his eyes, I saw myself. So when I see his eyes, I see my eyes. I feel like he was the other half of me. We were so similar and so different at the same time, but just it was just beautiful, and I don't know how to describe it. I it wasn't us in our adult forms. It was our inner child that connected, and they were playing together and they fell in love.
Okay.
And
So with that being said, so you said
complicated.
that your inner child. I get it. I understand what you're saying. Um, do you base because I know your childhood. We talked about you. We touched base on your childhood. I can say I know your childhood. We touched base on it. Um, do you think that you seen his hurt that he was dealing with?
Oh, I see his hurt. We have a shared trauma history.
Trauma
Um,
bond.
no, we didn't trauma bond,
Hmm.
because it happened prior to us meeting each other. But we were able to relate to each other in a different way.
Right.
We had a different understanding of each
Hmm.
other. And like I said,
Okay.
he was a safe space for me. So I was able to talk as wild and crazy as I needed to. And if I got too far, just like you, he would reel me back in,
Hmm.
And as I'm coming back in, rationality starts to set back in. And then I come to my conclusion. Um, and that's where it's been difficult for me, is because not many people are willing to let me go that far.
Right. Right.
They want to cap me in what is comfortable for them. And that's where I failed.
Right. So from now, do you think that? I mean, I know you're processing the situation, and which is easy. It's easier said than done. That you can get over it. Um, what is your steps to move forward though? Like what is you think the next what does tomorrow holds for you, or do you not even think about tomorrow? You just gonna go with the flow.
I don't want to plan because plans change.
Hmm.
Um, I'm open to meeting people. I'm not hung up on Demon. Do I love him? Yes. Am I upset that things ended the way they did? Yes.
Hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't want to put any kind of definitive claim on it. I
Hmm.
just know that right now we can't be together, and I have to accept that. I just
Right.
recognize that I need affection. I need compassion. I need physical touch.
Right.
Um, I require physical touch. If I don't, that's when you guys will really start seeing me go manic, is when
Hmm.
I don't have physical touch. And I'm starting to recognize that. But because of who I am, I can't
Hmm.
just let anybody touch me. But I think I have a workaround with that too. Because
So so when you say physical touch, do you mean in the sense of intimacy, or in the sense of you just need that warmth from a person?
well, intimacy is not something that I can give everybody. So physical can just be sex. Um, I don't connect to sex, so I'll just be there in spirit. But I can, I need it. And so I lived all those years without intimacy. And so I might look backwards to fill the need,
Hmm.
because I've already healed from those emotions, and it would just be a business transaction.
I got you. My thing is, I would rather, me personally, knowing you and seeing the type of person you are, because I think you're a real sweet person. I really think you're a sweet person that you wear your heart on your sleeve. Um, you really, I mean, I think you give yourself a hard time more than you need to give yourself,
Oh,
personally. And I do think that I do think that me personally speaking, this is just, that brother and sister type of situation we have going on is I do think that before you can meet anybody else or whatever, I would rather you to process who you are, not goddess. I don't know. I miss your name every damn time. Talia,
Talitha.
Talitha. Okay, I need you to process who Talitha is because I want you. I really think that there's something for you out here. And and even if it's not in a relationship form, it's happiness out here for you.
One thing I've
And
known since I was a kid,
mhm,
call it practical magic, whatever you want. I was not born to be alone. I know that I'm going to be in a relationship. And that's just something that I've always known. I'm going to tell you a story, and there's a reason why I feel this way. So when I was younger, this memory just recently came back to me too, where I can vividly see it.
mhm,
And I called my mom to confirm. We were at this luau. I can see the pig on the spit, and everything. There was a When I was younger, people thought I was Tongan or Samoan.
mhm.
Um, there was a gentleman there, a Samoan family, who wanted my mom to arrange a marriage with his son.
Oh wow.
He was very adamant that he wanted this marriage to happen, and he my mom was like no, but he was gonna arrange it, and his son was gonna go back to Samoa, and then he was gonna come get me when I was of age. And my
For
mom was
real?
like, yeah, I that's kind of my life. Like,
Mhm,
I recognize that there's something unique with me, and
mhm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I
I,
know that I'm going to end up with somebody.
I
I'm very
do. I believe you can too. I believe you can because I think that, like I said, I think on your show that we went through too much hell for it not to be a brighter side. I do think that we have so much. We me and you, but we both talked about on your show too. We experienced so much of our life, it's over our life, which we became survivors. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That where we so quick to be like, okay, I got to try to make it out. What's my next goal? What's going to get to next? I got to try to figure out. You kind of shell yourself off a little bit from the world. Um, but what I do think that's for you is before you can move on to that next step. I think that you should find some way of balancing who you are and first what you want to become because you are destined to be greater than what you think.
I
I say
received
that.
that. Thank you.
I say that because I mean we talk about each other we talk all the time and I hear you're hurting and stuff and I was thinking like yo she got to really see who she really is because you talk about your past and not connecting to men like that not since you was a teenager and all this other stuff. I'm just saying that I would love for you to I think you went through so much that you it's hard to find who you are to
You
find
know,
who
I
the true you.
I definitely can agree with that, because I haven't been me my whole life. I've lived by what others saw me as. And so, what I've been doing over the course of, I'd say since December, when I really first had my first mental break, to March, and then from March until now, I had another mental break in March when I quit my job. Um, and then I just recently had one again. But I want to caution that because I think we live too hard in the definition of mental break that people
Mhm.
don't recognize that we are very capable as humans to have a mental break and still be functional. I don't want to make it appear that I've just been willowed up in the corner, just sobbing my eyes out, because that's not
Right.
true. I still have to be a mom. I'm still trying to figure out how to pay my bills. I made this big decision, and now I'm dealing with the fallout from that. And I'm in a really precarious situation.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm scared. And I'm dealing with all of that at one time by myself.
You
I
just said one thing. Hold on, you just said one thing which I respected you. I respected you just said. I'm scared. And I respect you for that because it's hard sometimes it's hard for us to call it out that we're actually scared. I'm telling you me personally. Some days I like I try as a man, I live in this I'm a man mentality and I gotta figure it out. But it's some days I had to sit back and think like, look, how the fuck I'm gonna do this? How the fuck I'm gonna move on to plan B? I don't know what to do. And then it takes a minute, but I figure it out. With you and your situation surviving like you have, I think that you're gonna make it.
I know
I
I'll
do.
make it. I just don't know how to ask for help.
Mm,
I don't know how to put it out there and ask people and say, "Hey, I know I made a mistake and I am the reason I'm in this situation, but I really need some help right now." You know, I've told you, like, I'm making it work. It's, I will make it work. I always do.
mhm,
But there's certain things that complicate it. There's, expenses that are just crazy enormous. And it's not even a bill. It's just to make sure my kid eats, because
mhm,
she's so picky. She only eats Pop Tarts and macaroni and cheese and only specific kinds. So that's $5 a box. And
right.
she will go through 12 Pop Tarts in one sitting because
Mm,
of how she eats. And, you know, I I don't know. I'm not turning this into a soapbox, but
No, no, no,
it's
no, no, no. This the point. This the point of this episode. This episode is for you to vent, and I'd rather for you to vent. If you need a break, we'll take a break. But I want you to be able to to leave comfortable.
oh, I'm comfortable. I I struggle because I don't, sorry, tears coming.
You, you,
I don't ever want people to think that I am taking advantage of something.
mhm,
I know what I did wrong. I know where I could have been better, but in no capacity did anybody stop to think about me. All they
mhm,
ever worry about is what I'm doing for everybody else. And I just finally stopped and I was like, what about me? You know, um, I want to matter too. I'm okay.
okay. And I think that you do matter, and I think that by the fact that you're allowing yourself to show this emotion and allowing yourself to break down for a minute is a true testament of that you're human. You know what I'm saying? You're human. We can only be strong for so damn long. We can only be top tier for so damn long until we gonna need somebody to carry us up. Like I said, I'm gonna tell you this right here. I pray. And this is truth, and it's not sympathy. It's nothing like that. I promise you, it's not. It's I pray for your mental health. I pray for your strength. I pray for you for I pray for your self aware. I pray a tenfolds of blessings upon your life. And I pray that you realize that you are enough. I tell you that in the text the other day. I pray that you realize that you are enough because I think for a long time you never felt that you was enough. You are
I was
enough.
enough, just not for myself
You
because
gotta be.
I wasn't given the opportunity to. I didn't even get a chance to process postpartum. After a miracle was born, you know, her dad at that time was a strong narcissist. He's recovering now,
He
but
told me.
he told me to get over it.
Mm,
He told me this is what you signed up for.
mm,
And that's kind of what everybody in my life has told me. Like,
mm.
you just have to deal with this. And I couldn't do it anymore.
That part. So I think that I'm saying I hope that you are allowing yourself because I can see that you're we're talking. I know you overflow with emotions right now. And I know there's a lot going on in your mind. I do want you to. I'm hoping that you allow yourself to vent, allow
I'm
yourself to open up, and then release because holding it in so long is not a good release. You know what I'm saying? It's stressful. It can cause more. It causes you to get sick. You know what I'm saying? And I want you. I hope you was allow yourself that to finally release because you went so many years of just bottling it up. And I hope that you allow yourself to release.
I I've always released, but for me, I was more like a tea kettle, and I was aware. I've always been self-aware, and I would call it out. I'm going to break. I'm about to break. I feel like I'm going to break, you guys. And nobody would listen to me. Even now, I'm like, I need help. And you know what I get?
What?
Emojis. People just put emojis on my status. Like, I'm telling you that I need help. And people say, Carla, don't do it alone. You're not alone. And I'm saying out loud that I'm struggling. And
Hey,
you got
hey,
this.
I know. Do you want to take a break? I'm making sure. Just making
No,
sure. Okay.
I am
I know.
I am definitely a functional emotional person.
I got you. Oh, trust me, I know. We just spoke plenty of times. But look, man, I've been there, and I can't say I haven't. I've been there. Even in my current relationship and all the situations, I've been there to a place where I was, and when I remember when one time for me, I had the same situation with you, where I felt like I was being unheard. That I am tired. I'm tired, and I remember I even I did like you did. I made a status on Facebook. I was like, look, I can't do this no more. I need I'm tired. And like, and people like, yeah, whatever. Then when I blew up, they were like, yeah, we seen your status a long time ago. We knew that something was wrong. And I was like, why the fuck didn't somebody say something to me? I mean,
Because
and
we're not
sometimes
comfortable. So here, let me go into goddess mode for a minute.
you're like,
We are conditioned to be uncomfortable in other people's emotions because we can't handle our own. And so when somebody is struggling, many people will avoid it because instinctively, I mean, without even thought, your energy becomes ours. So if you're sad, then I'm going to be sad because you're sad. And so people will instinctively run away from that. I'm running to you now. If I see anything out of sorts, even Arye, he went from Geek Salad. He hadn't posted in a couple of days. I haven't really been paying attention lately, been in my own fog. But I messaged him. I'm like, hey, yo, what's going on, bro? You know, what you haven't been posting. And it's like, I am going to start running to people. You know, if I see something, I care more about the person than I do their friendship. So if I piss you off with whatever I come to you and say, I can live without your friendship. I'm going to miss you, but your life
well,
is way more important to me than
I,
anything else.
I think with me in that situation, I'm not trying to tie it back to me all the time, but with me in that situation, I know, I think I used to give more chances than I needed to, but I had to get to a place where I'm okay while I'm okay to let people go. I'm okay now, more now than I ever been to let people go. Whether you family, friend, whatever, I'm okay to let you go because I can't allow you to be a cancer to me.
Right.
And I think for years, and this is my honest God truth, for years I allow people to affect me with their situations. Like you know what I'm saying? And I was happy. I would always be that person when somebody crying when they come to, but when I'm hurt, I need to go to somebody, nobody was there. So I had to learn that. I had to learn that, okay, if you can't give me what I'm giving you, at least half the way, I can't allow that in me.
Right. And
I can't
I
allow that.
am not like that at all
Mhm.
because that's not my purpose. I am here
Right.
to love.
Oh
So
yeah.
whether I receive it back or not, I'm still going to give it.
Well, don't.
Um, and no, I'm just saying, like, you're right in your situation. And
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me, it was
Hmm.
never like that.
Hmm.
I'm not innocent. I've done my dirt.
Oh, we all have
I've been a very ugly girl, but
it.
I I recognize that now. You know,
Mhm.
we talked about the fact that my ex-husband raped me. We talked about, you know, my first experience being rape. You know, men have always taken advantage of me. And my name is Damsel. It literally stands for damsel. And I have been subjected to that my entire life. And it's just a matter of fact for me anymore. I talked about my OnlyFans. It's still up. I don't even care about it. It's, once I put a monetary price on something that I used to enjoy, I stopped enjoying it. It wasn't, I liked showing my naked body because I liked being appreciated. I liked that. It wasn't that I was trying to get anything. I never got anything for my body. It wasn't like I was proposing money from men. I did it one time, and that was to save my house. I was like literally minutes away from foreclosure. And I subjected myself to trying to sell naked pictures and do strange for change, and because I was desperate. I am that girl. Like, I can sacrifice my body. I don't give a shit about my body. It has no reflection on who I am, and my life and my stability has always been my biggest fear. Because I was homeless. I lived in a duffel bag.
That part.
I'm afraid of losing everything that I worked so hard to get, and I don't know how to ask for help because they'll say, well, you knew this was going to happen. You should have planned for this. Well, I did. And then what I did is I took the money and I spent it on everybody else.
Yes.
I had $20,000 in my bank account. It was gone over the weekend because I put it into everybody else's pockets.
Right. Here's my thing is, because as a person who was homeless before, I was homeless before. And I remember I told my wife one time, I said, I'd be damned if I'm going to be homeless again. And I remember I told her that before. I said, if this relationship don't work out, I ain't going to be homeless. I'm going to tell you that shit now. Something going to happen. But I respect you for even saying that part because I understand. It's a different drive when you went through the struggle. It's a different drive that we have. That even when they would make you say, "Look, fuck it, I'm just gonna do what I got to do to get my money because I need this." I respect you for saying that because
I've slept behind a dumpster. I don't want to do that again.
I remember. Here's my thing was. I remember like I was staying with family members to get myself on my feet. And I remember that we were getting put out of our house. Not my like the people I was staying with was getting put out the house. So I'm like, damn, what the fuck I'm gonna do? I'm staying with you now. I gotta get put out. And I mean, we would stay at the whole. We would go get like a room for a weekend or a week or so at the Days Inn. With the little money we had, we'd get a room for a weekend. But what I would do was I would work 2 jobs, so I wouldn't be at home. I wouldn't have to be at home. I'll work 2 jobs, and they'll take me out for the whole entire day. And I'll sleep in my car for probably like a couple hours. Then I'll get up and try to go somewhere and wipe off, or I'll go to work and wipe myself off real quick and go on to the job. So I knew that struggle, and I knew that I didn't want to experience that again. So I do think that you sharing that too. It's what you needed. I think, and I always tell you that if you ever need a person to talk to about any of that, I'm always gonna be here for that conversation. I mean, you'd have called me lose your damn mind one day. but it was.
I did have a breakdown with you, and I truly appreciate you. I get scared to reach out to people. I've reached out to Amron too, and then I feel guilty. And this is who I am. I'm going to give you guys full disclosure on who I am,
right?
Because I just met you guys. I have a lot of emotion. I have a lot of stuff always going on in my life. And that's a lot for people, especially if I'm brand new. And so I just withdrew from everybody. I have not really talked to anybody. I haven't recorded a show in 3 weeks. I haven't been watching podcasts. I haven't been listening to podcasts. I have just completely lost who I am. And I just, I'm I'm lost.
I know.
But I'm here. I'm not unstable. I'm just lost in the sauce right now. And I really miss Demon. And I, with the situation with my daughter's father, it's a lot for one person to take on. And every time I talk to people, all they're worried about is the kids, the house, the bills.
But look, like I tell you, with me, you need a release. If you ever need a release, you got my number. You can text me, release it, because holding on to that shit is not healthy for you.
It's
You know what
very
I'm
true.
saying? I need you. You need to release it because all you doing. You're like a bottle. You filling up with water. Once eventually that top gonna pop. You got to release it. And so we coming up on an hour. So let me go ahead and ask these questions pertaining to mental health and relationships. So
Okay.
now I want you to give me your honest opinion, your honest answers, not answers, just your honest viewpoints pertaining to yourself. Um, and who would, if you can give advice, this is advice I want you to give. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I hate to feel like we're going through. We had a 2 hour show on yours, man. But all right. So here we go. You ready? So
Yeah.
one of the questions that was submitted was, why do people think that going to therapy is taboo?
I think it's because it's a controlled environment. A lot of people aren't given the license to have an imagination,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of our fears are driven through imagination. And so we have to be comfortable to release those in an area where we're not going to feel judged.
Right.
And even with the therapist, there's a limit on what you can share because they are mandatory reporters.
Yeah.
So, they're always going to assume the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And people, sometimes we talk about really dark things. It's a moment. We need to
Mm-hmm.
be able to have those moments. And therapy, in many cases, doesn't allow people to do that.
Can you hold on 1 second, please? 1
Absolutely.
second.
Normally people talk right here, but I don't know what to say. I can tell you that Eric is an amazing guy, though. I can tell you that. I'm crazy hungry. I'm so awkward.
All right, I'm back. Someone's at the front door. My bad.
You're good.
uh, Another question. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do my answer to that too. My true answer is I've done therapy a couple times, counseling a couple times, and what I felt was, I ran. What I felt was that it was a way for me to release too, because I felt like I was, especially someone who don't know you, who can't judge, you can't say nothing to you about it. Um, I didn't. I'm be honest with you. I'm like everybody else. I'm black, so I was like, look, man, therapy ain't for me. I can go to. I'm just gonna pray about it, whatever. But sometimes prayer didn't work. Sometimes I even turn my back on God too. So I needed somebody who didn't give a damn about me, who don't know me from a glass of water, whatever, to just like, look, I'll hear you.
For me, that
Right.
wouldn't work, though. I'm an energy girl,
Mm-hmm.
so if I'm in somebody's presence and they're having a bad day, it's going to make me have a bad moment. If
Right.
they're not feeling, or if I say something and they make the slightest body movement, I pick up on that and then I will withdraw. So therapy didn't work for me because I can manipulate that situation too much. When I'm talking with you, I'm raw. I'm just open. I can't do that with them because I'm paying too much attention to them.
I feel you there too. I think the last time I did it, like to me, I feel like the expression on the guy's face was like, "I'm not hearing you," and I didn't like that. I understand.
That's the
Which
big
is
thing. I need to be understood. And the way that I think is very difficult to understand. And I don't like being questioned. If I'm venting to you, just let me talk. I don't want you to speak, and I know that sounds wrong, but I don't want you to speak, because if you speak, you're going to change my emotion, and I need to release this emotion in its entirety. And I can't do with that in a therapy office, because they're going to be like, well, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel like I want to stab you, but I'm not going to do that, So
I got you. I respect that. I respect it. Don't stab me, Kirk. I know you will. Anyway, here's another question. How do you unlearn toxic behaviors you develop through trauma, due to trauma? And that's something that we both fight on.
Actually, it's not as hard as many people would think it to be. You just have to recognize it. And so I think that when we see red flags, instead of running from the red flag, recognize that the red flag is a trauma trigger. So why are you trauma triggered? Okay, so you're recognizing a pattern of behavior. Where in your past did that behavior first start to show? And what was happening in that time frame? Okay, so let's work on that, because it has nothing to do with the vessel that you're dealing with right now. Yes, they triggered it, but they could only trigger it because it started someplace else. So go back to what, you have to actually sit and do the work and go back to the beginning to see where it triggered to begin with. And that's what Demon did for me, is I would trigger back to the beginning, and I never held him responsible for it, because I recognized that he didn't create it. I just recognized it.
I'm gonna tell you the truth for me. The truth for me was, especially in my past, I didn't want to accept what my problem was, with the things I was been toxic about. So I had to ask somebody, even after we done moved on and let go, because I seen a pattern of me going through situations. So I had to ask somebody, like, what was the reason? What was something? Majority of my exes I'm friends with. I'm still friends with majority of my exes. I mean, I'm actually one of my daughter's goddaddy. I'm like, so, but I remember I asked somebody, I was like, look, what was something that I did wrong? Because when we arguing and shit, I don't pay you no damn mind. I shut you out when we argue. So you can tell me all the shit I'm doing wrong. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But you did. But I had to ask somebody, and they told me what my problems was, and I had to think about, okay, cool. Why was I this type of person? Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like did this person bring this out of me? Or that I came into the situation like this, or whatever. But then I had to sit back and realize, okay, let me work on Eric to be a better Eric.
Do you know that Demon and I were together for a year, and we didn't fight that entire year? Even with all the drama and everything that we went through, we never fought. We never raised our voices at each other. We never. The last conversation we had, he said something really mean, and that kind of took me back. But I came from a place of how I was feeling, and not a place of accusation. And so it eliminated the possibility of an argument, because I wasn't blaming him. I was just talking from a space of my emotion.
Respect that. All right, next question. Now this, I think, I'm gonna rephrase this though. It says, what are different kinds of therapy for trauma? How I'm gonna take it as, what can you do to overcome bad situations, and how to vent out?
Remove the person from the situation, because that's where the emotion is, and attack the situation. So for me, being raped, I took out the character. I focused on the act. What did the act do to me? It made me feel small. It made me feel like I had no power. It made me feel like I was only here for a purpose of collecting semen. I had to live that space, because the person was broken. Very relevant. What did I learn from the situation? And that's what I had to come through, is that I have felt like a semen collector my whole entire life because nobody took the time to love me. I was just here for them.
One thing about that, man, you are definitely loved, and even if it's not from a man, and no matter how irritating they get, them kids love you.
That's true.
And them kids love you, and you're doing it for them. And I promise you, they might not, you might not think they understand some damn days, but you are loved, and you are important in somebody's life. And when you look at those kids, that's your importance right there.
I hold on to that.
I know. I know. For me, therapy to deal with traumas. Um, I think I did everything. I did. I actually went to counseling before. I did that. I did a church thing. I did a situation where you just go break shit up and like go just tear shit up.
Music.
Music.
If there's Erica Mason, Unappreciated, I had it in my playlist, and one day it came on, and I actually started listening to the words. I stood in my living room and broke down crying. I was like, this is my life. Like this is everything I've been trying to tell people, but I couldn't articulate it in the right way. Like, or the song by Brian Morgan, The Fixer, I think is Brent Morgan, The Fixer.
Yeah.
That's me too. Nobody cares to work on me as long as I'm working on them. And that's been 45 years of my life. Well, I mean, I can't count being a child, but you know, it's my common denominator.
We're gonna make the next 4 to 5 years better. I'm gonna tell you that now. It's time to be them next four. Damn, you can't be 90 fucking up. But no, here's my thing is I saw a great song for me was Lauryn Hill's I Gotta Find Peace of Mind. The song that she had was an unplugged. She did on an unplugged album. Was straight stripped down, and a lot of people call her crazy when she did a performance. Like the performance, she was all over the place. She was crying and all of that. But listen to that song, and you can hear her breaking down while she's singing it, and you like I feel her pain. This is me, and she's speaking to me. And it, honestly, as the song's going on, you can see her releasing it. You can feel her releasing through the song, and it was like, I'm free now. And as she said, I'm free now. I'm free. And every time I had them bad days, I go to that song because that song actually brings me out of it.
I go to
Okay.
Metallica when I'm angry, sad but true.
You better tear some shit up.
It's the weirdest thing. Like when I'm really sad, I like to listen to sad music. Or I watch love stuff, or something that's going to evoke emotion and make me cry, because I cry at everything, so it's not that hard. But when I'm angry, I like to listen to Metallica.
Oh man, to be honest with you, you know what really calms me down? Very old school music. Like I can go for a drive. Like a drive was really calm me down. For honest with you, I gotta go for a drive, and I gotta listen to some kind of like OJ's, some old school R&B. I gotta have that in my playlist because it makes me want to dance. I need to dance, and don't get me wrong, I can't dance save my goddamn life, but I need I got a couple. I got a little rhythm, but I need something to make me go. All right, I got to party. I gotta pick myself up because I can't be down. I can't be being down is like I feel like I'm down for months. I need something to lift me up out of this. And that old school, that damn what they do, they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. That shit right there brings me out of my shit. And I'm like, look, I'm good. I can come back home now. I'm like, fuck it. The kids ain't got on my nerves no more. My wife is cool. I'm fine now. That and give me something to eat because my fat ass like to eat. But I gotta have it. Here's another thing. Another question. They said this right here, but I'm gonna change it again. They said, does LSD really help process trauma? So my thing is, does self medication whether it be weed, drinking, whatever, help process trauma?
I think it depends on the person. Many people aren't strong enough to have a codependency while trying to heal. And so it becomes a crutch, and they abuse it. Um, LSD, that seems a little strong, to use as a self medication tool, only because it also has a hallucinogenic piece to it, which would only amplify the trauma and make it more real in the current situation. And it's not. I mean, weed is good. It just calms you down. Self medication, it's really based on the person. Some people can't. I strongly would suggest against it because they trade one trauma for another. And it's not healthy. I would say use discernment on yourself, because are you strong enough to handle it? You have to do what you need to do to make yourself comfortable. That's not harmful. So it wouldn't be wise for me to put any kind of declaration on if it's good or not, because again, my personal preference, no. However, each individual is going to know what they can handle. I would just err on the side of caution.
Right. For me, and that's in that question, I'm not an LSD fan. I'm not gonna do none of that hard shit. But I'm scared. I heard that you can see the devil. You do acid. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. Now, but what I will do, what I will do is, now I used to drink. I used to drink to calm me down. But then I'm like, man, I didn't like the effect of me on me. Then I was smoking weed one time to calm myself down. And let me tell y'all, Trail, when you smoke weed, man, sometimes your high lasts longer than when the fuck you wanted to last. And like, you ever been so high, you're like, man, I really want this shit to stop right now. I need this to stop. And
high,
I can't do it.
But I used to be a paranoid high. So I stopped smoking because I don't like the head change. I do smoke now more as not really even just to get high. I have anxiety attacks now that just started this year, and they've taken me by ambulance twice. So I'm just trying to maintain.
And I'm in the same boat too. I got a place now where I get overwhelmed quick now. Like I said, I could be doing a job and I can hear people talking to me while I'm trying to do something, and it's like, yo, I can't. I can't deal right now.
It's called overstimulation.
Yeah, and I had to find a break from it. So I have to.
You know that you can. One thing that you can do, just put your earbuds in, no music. It'll give you kind of like the echo kind of feeling or whatever, where you can still hear the outside world, but it numbs it just enough that it doesn't overstimulate you.
Okay. Next question.
As a trick.
I need something, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want to look at it like I'm crazy or anything. But I'm just saying, just like I'll be doing something, you can hear people talking to you or people talking around you while you're in the middle of trying to figure out something else, and it's like, yo, I can't deal with this. I can't. Don't leave me alone. Just leave me alone for a minute.
Just add the second layer. You see, it'll make a tremendous difference, and you'll still be able to hear.
Okay. Next question. There's a bunch of questions about this topic. A lot of people ask a lot of questions about this.
Probably because they saw me mentally break down for the last few weeks.
Hey, yo, but look, it's best to talk about it because I think it helps us all get it out of the way.
Absolutely.
Why is going to therapy frowned upon in the Black community?
I believe it's because nobody's given the Black people the space to have problems. I think that they are mandatory workhorses, And so they're not given the same opportunity to feel. And that's not to say that any other race is not suffering the same affliction, just as a cultural mindset. The majority of our family came from what goes on in this house stays in this house. And so we never stopped that mindset. And, it starts with us. Um, Therapy can be very closed in. Find a way. Sorry. Therapy is not just you sitting in a therapist's office paying somebody. Therapy is going fishing. Therapy is closing yourself in the bathroom in candlelight, taking a bath. Therapy is going out and drinking with your friends. Take away the definition and the picture therapy brings. Me talking to you today is therapy. Every time we turn on our camera, it's therapy. Recognize that waking up in the morning is a form of therapy. Give yourself credit on the small wins, and you'll start to really appreciate them. So when the big wins happen, you realize that you really deserve it because you've done everything you needed to do to get it.
See, I like that. See, my thing is too. Also realize that in the Black community, we associate going to therapy with being crazy. We need to cut back from the idea of thinking that asking for help does not mean that you're crazy. Asking for help means I need to better myself. I mean, we as black people, I'm gonna tell you, and it's the truth. As black people, we're so used to the struggle. We're so used to the struggle. We kind of accept it. I think that asking for help is not a problem to ask for help. It's not a problem with getting some kind of form of guidance when you can't guide the world anymore. There's nothing wrong with it. I do think that we need to turn to something.
That gives me a perfect little introduction. So, part of what I'm working on
Hmm.
is creating a safe space. And because I need to earn an income, I'm going to be people's safe space, not
Yeah.
therapy.
Hmm.
I don't have a license,
Hmm.
but people don't, they just need to talk. So, if you just need somebody to listen to you for 30 minutes, I'll listen to you 30 minutes. If you want a full conversation, then that's a little bit more, you know, um, because give and take is really important. And so I'm going to be creating a safe space for
Hey,
monetary reasons, of course.
damn right. Hey, yo,
However, people need it.
all right. For $29.99, y'all, you too can be free, and I get 5% of that. But look, anyway, uh, okay, this wasn't a question, but it's something that I think we touched on with your first on our last interview. We need to confront those relatives that's in our family that everyone say stay away from.
Yeah. I confronted my molester.
Mm,
I sent her a message and I was like, look, what you did to me was unacceptable and I don't like you. And I'm not going to pretend to like you anymore. And I blocked her. I had to literally face her every single day since I was 11 years old and pretend nothing was going on. And I just recently did that like a week ago, two
there we
weeks
go.
ago.
All right. See, that let me know you move, making steps to move forward, and I like that. Like, you know what I'm saying. We talked about that stuff. You making steps and strides. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to see how I'm gonna explain this. First of all, I mean, I knock on wood. I never had too much of a traumatic experience with family members. Um, all I say is I've had family members where I had to personally just get away from. You know what I'm saying? Because what they're doing, who they are, is bringing me down too. Um, and I had to, like I said, accept myself. So I got away from them for my own mental health, I guess, but my own like just confidence level. I had to. Um, it took a
I
while
asked
for me to
my
do that.
mom. I asked my mom if maybe my dad wasn't my dad, that maybe she shifted timelines, or we did some kind of weird thing. Like
Mhm.
it, I was just trying to make sense of it because I just don't understand how I came from him, but I get it. I get it.
Hey man, you made it though. You here? All right. So I'm trying to hurry up and get through these questions. Try to find some ones that I can cut through
Why
that
do
we
you
haven't already
have to
talked about.
hurry? I don't
Well,
have
because
anything to do.
well, I have to go to work. See, it's early in the morning over there. It's 12 afternoon over here. Uh,
It's 9 o'clock.
exactly. It's almost 12:30. I gotta be at work. I gotta leave at 2:30. Here's the other thing is, what are signs to watch out for in mental health? With mental health.
All of us have mental health. So there's not a designated sign. I think that just being genuinely compassionate and recognizing that everybody is struggling is what needs to happen, because there's people even in our friend group that are hurting, and nobody sees it. I do, but I, you know, you just have to be compassionate and understand that people are going to have bad days. Um, it's not a reflection on who they are. I believe that you need to protect your safety and you protect your peace, and but it doesn't mean that you need to hold grudges and give in to those lower vibrations of anger and hate. Um, because everybody is worthy of love, even if you feel like your love is not what they need. They still deserve love.
Um, I said, almost I'm gonna answer this question right here. Okay,
Okay.
dealing with your own mental health issues. Have you ever tried to harm yourself or others?
When I was a teenager, I took a bottle of pills. I called my mom. The ambulance came and got me, and I made jokes with the paramedics and was immediately released because I was not a danger to myself or others. Last year, in the throes of the whole demon thing, I did take a knife and cut myself. Um, but I didn't do that the way people would think. People jump into ice water for polar bear. It's a shock to the system. I was so obsessed with demon, get, I couldn't breathe. And so I did that as a way to shock myself, because my brain was like, whoa, what are you doing? And I was able to break that obsession, and then I was able to start processing away from him. Um, and it's not something I encourage. It's not something I will ever do again. It's just in that moment, I was desperate it was controlling me, and I didn't like it.
For me, I'm open honest with my life. I have no problem saying anything. For me, in my early 20s, and like I told you, I was going through the homeless situation and everything else, and I felt like life can't get no better than what is going on. Um, I can't. I couldn't afford to eat, pay bills, and put gas in my car. I'm going through the homeless situation. Everybody's turning. I feel like everybody's turning their back on me. I don't know what to do. And to me, I felt that the quick way is out. And so yeah, I tried to take a bunch of pills before. Because I feel like, and be honest with you, I'm scared of doing like the shooting that shit like it hurts. I don't want to do it. But I try to do the quick way out. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I remember that I wrote a letter. You know, the suicide letter. I wrote that, and what broke me down was that I wrote it, and I had my little sister in my mind as I was writing it. My little sister, we were so far apart because my little sister moved to a whole other state, and honestly, and this is the honest God truth. Me and her talked about it since, but honestly, that was what stopped me. Because all I did was sleep and woke back up. But what stopped me was that I thought in my head, what I'm doing now is hurting her. gonna hurt.
Mhm.
It's gonna hurt her. And she, like we said, that was my anchor to the ground. She was the one who pulled me out of it because I'm like, yo, I gotta be. I'm here for somebody else. I have somebody else to rely that's relying on me. And so my little sister was the person who actually brought me out of that place. That and praying and all this stuff, but I had that would stop me in that lowest point because I felt like life couldn't get no better. I really felt like life couldn't get no better, and I thank God life did get better. Um, but I remember that situation. I told myself I would never go that dark ever again in my life.
So I would caution, don't
Mm-hmm,
put that kind of energy into your existence.
mm-hmm,
Um, there's nothing wrong with being that dark.
mm-hmm.
You actually learn when you're that deep. You have your wife, you have your kids, so you have an
Yeah.
anchor, like you said. If you I think that's one of the problems is people are so conditioned to think that if they get down into those emotions where they're thinking of unaliving themselves, that somehow makes them bad. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you bad. It just means that you're hurting and
Mm-hmm,
you need a space where you can release that and feel comfortable doing that. It's okay to be that way. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. And I think that's what we need to start telling people, that it's okay to have ugly emotions. I've seen my kids die 100 different ways in my head,
mm-hmm,
pictures. You know, I have ugly thoughts. I'm a human. You know, we need to know that it's okay. Just because we have the thought doesn't mean that it makes us a bad person.
mm-hmm. Respect that. Um, Next question is, what advice would you give yourself, your younger self, and yourself now?
Love is magic. I don't I don't look back. I don't have any regrets, and I wouldn't go back and change anything because
Mm-hmm,
she had to go through what she went through.
mm-hmm,
Um, for me now, just stand in my truth. And my truth is I'm very emotional.
mm-hmm,
I can be happy at 9:26 and 20 seconds, and then
mm-hmm,
9:26 and 27 seconds I'm a hysterical mess. And then I'm right
mm-hmm,
back to being okay again. I need people to recognize that that's okay. People do that. We're freaking human. You know, we bounce. We intentionally bounce. We're multifaceted people. We're allowed. We have this full spectrum of emotions, but we're conditioned to tell ourselves that it's wrong to express them. That's doing ourselves a disservice. So if you're gonna cry, cry. If you're gonna ugly cry, ugly cry. If you're gonna talk about aliens invading the earth, cool, let's do that. You know, let's just make some popcorn or just, you know, whatever. I don't really care. I just
mm-hmm.
want people to feel comfortable knowing that there's nothing wrong with feeling bad.
Mm. I'm tie on to that. What you're saying is though, there's nothing wrong with feeling bad, but also don't allow yourself to stay in that place because that become your safe zone after a while. Um, Allow yourself to grow from that pain.
I say I allow myself a pity party. I
Mm-hmm,
can cry. Why me? It's not fair. Why is everybody doing this to me? This is so fucking ridiculous. I'm just tired of all this fucking bullshit. And then, okay, they're not doing this to me. I'm doing this to me. They are
mm-hmm.
just a product of the situation. What can I do to better myself? And that's where I sit.
Got you. Uh, the advice I give myself, younger Eric versus a grown ass adult Eric, because it's two different forms of Eric. Younger Eric, don't allow your situations to overcome you. Me young, I experienced a lot of heartache at a young age. You know what I'm saying? I told you, I lost my mom, I lost my grandmother, I moved with my dad. We stayed for a little bit. We didn't get along a lot when I was younger. We got a great relationship now, but we didn't get along a lot when I was younger. Um, I was always looking to be. I just put myself into a shell of myself, and then what I did was, I the mass I was feeling, I was over top. I have an over top personality. So as younger Eric, I was the class clown. I gotta make you laugh so you wouldn't know what was going on with me. So I was over the top with it. So I would tell my younger self is, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, believe in yourself better, and everything's gonna be okay. Growing up, Eric, I tell myself now, don't let life get to you to the point where you overstress it. I'm at the place now as a grown man. I told my wife this right here a while back that probably like a couple weeks ago, we had a date night. And she was like, do you want more out of life and everything else? And I told her where I'm at right now is what I envisioned years ago. Where I'm at now is something that I wanted at 20. A stable foundation, a stable home. I have a wife, I have kids now. I never had that. I never had a place where I had to feel like I could come home and feel like I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a place now that I dream about. I'm not worried about how I'm gonna make ends meet. I'm not. I'm okay. I'm okay. So I'm at that place. As I'm at a place now, I'm cool. I'm comfortable. Now, whatever comes next, whatever comes with this next, like vacations of these big places and all this other bullshit, it's a cherry on top. But right now, in this moment, I'm okay. I need to allow myself to be okay. And I got to. When I went to a therapy one time, she did tell me this right here, which I respect, that my mind will go to the past. When I have a bad day, my mind will go back to the bad days I had in my younger years, or things I should have said, or things I should have did. Allow myself to grow from that and move forward. That's my advice I give myself now.
I'm going to give you just a little bit more on top of that.
Go ahead.
The past doesn't exist until you remember it. The future doesn't exist because it's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So all you have is right now.
Gotcha.
Because it's true. How much of our life have we forgotten? And then it's just somebody will bring up something and we're like, oh yeah, da 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 da. It's not that it's not relevant. It's just not relevant. So it only exists in here in your head. Who are you now?
Remember that part. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that part you just said. I want you to remember that's the advice you need. You just gave yourself some advice. All right.
I take it as I give it.
You just gave yourself advice. Are we ready to admit that our parents were just learning like we are now?
Yeah. I've forgiven my parents, especially my dad. As a Black man, he already had way more struggles than I'll ever understand myself. Couple that with the fact that he had one eye, he's blind in one eye. My dad had to overcome a lot. And, he did what he could. Did he do a good job? No fucking way. But I've forgiven him. My mom too. My mom is me. We always put the men first. And I'm okay putting a man first, but just know that first is a dual spot. And recognize that just as much as I'm loving you, I'm going to love myself.
Yeah, I love this. You keep giving yourself the damn advice. I told you. I'm gonna say this right here too, because I've had conversations with my dad, and I told him that like we had conversations because we didn't when I was in my teen years, and then I got teenage sons. I understand this whole situation now. I'm like, Lord, I swear to God, I'm sorry, but in my teen years, me and my dad didn't get along like I wanted us to get along. Okay. And in my head, you had this whole vision that a father-son relationship was supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? And we didn't have that. So I talked to him one day, and he actually talked to me about it. He said, "Look, man," and he like, "Look, I wasn't ready." He said, "I wasn't expecting to do this because, like I said, everybody died before I got to my dad, and So he already had my older sisters. They are grown and doing their own thing. Then I moved in as a teenager. So he took me in because, you know what I'm saying, everybody's gone for me. And my dad was always there in my life. Now, that's one thing I would say. My dad has always been there for me from a child until now. But I didn't physically live with my dad until I got into my teen years. And we had to really learn. I had to learn who he was outside of him coming to visit on the weekend. So, and I didn't like it. He didn't like me, I felt. And we kept butting heads. And I was a strong personality as a kid. And I'm going to bump heads with you because I'd have been doing enough shit already. I ain't going to take your shit. So we had a big problem. But we had a conversation, and he told me, he said, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't feel like I was ready to take on another responsibility. And he actually apologized. He apologized, and I apologized for the shit I was doing. And it was all about growing. So I accept him. I accept what happened, and I'm able to move forward now. Because and now we're looking at as two grown men having a conversation, not just father dad. We're two grown men now having a conversation, and we was able to keep it real with each other, and I appreciate that now. We have the best relationship that I tell you about. I wish we had a relationship as a teen years, but the relationship we have now is I wouldn't change.
I tried calling my dad. He doesn't answer the phone.
Hey, but look, hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out though.
Oh, I'm not sad. Okay.
All right. As black people, do we criticize other black people for getting help?
I don't. I think that the Black community is a very overcritical community. Mm-hmm. But I recognize why. And it's because they had to fight harder. And so it's image based. It's a representation. Somehow therapy is a kink in the link, and that's not true. As our older generations are starting to leave, you're starting to see a little bit more of the opening, the more understanding, the more appreciation to the differences within the culture itself. Mm-hmm. But until we recognize that the true culture is in self-identity, we're never going to truly succeed because we won't give ourselves the space to actually be a community.
I think that nowadays nowadays that it's getting more accepted than it was 10 years ago. It's more accepted to go to get the help. It's more accepted to reach out. It's more accepted to say I need a me day. It's more accepted now. I think especially in the Black community. I think that we are at a place now where we are okay. We are finally getting to the place where we're okay to say we're not okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the best part of this. That's one of the best part of this new generation. Because I do feel like there's a lot of falls in this damn generation. But one of the best parts is that everybody is more self-aware. And I actually think that we are moving forward in a positive way with reaching out to each other pertaining to.
And posting me crying and posting my emotions is not easy. Because every time I post, I feel everything that's going to be said. Here she's crying again. Oh, Lord, what the hell? I recognize I have low engagement when I post emotion because people instinctively run from it. But then they cry when things like Twitch happened. I'm not saying that that's the extreme to which I'm going to go, but, don't cry for me later when I begged for you now.
A lot of it, I do feel like a lot of us don't see the signs what is in front of us because we choosing to not to see it. So when it's in front of y'all, man, I tell anybody what's in front of y'all, man, reach out to people you don't hear from no more. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes reach out to people that you know is battling sometimes, and not even try to get in that business because a lot of us, A lot of us when we go through emotions, we'll try to hide it and like we fine. Just at least even if you say I'm fine, I'd rather for you to just tell me. I'd rather for you to tell me you're fine. I'd rather for you to tell me that because if I don't hear from you, I'm gonna worry.
And I am the kind of person like I don't like to ask for help. And I know this is going to sound really bizarre, but help that comes from a genuine space is much more received. You know, if I ask you for help, then that's an obligation. And that makes me feel guilty. And that's my own personal issue. I know people don't know you need help if you don't ask for help. I just, I don't feel worthy enough to ask for help.
But you are.
I know I am, but I don't feel that I am. Because so many people take advantage of it. And I would just be another person out there asking for help. And I never even got food boxes when my kids didn't have food because somebody else needed it more than I did. I've just,
Let me tell you this right here. And I'm gonna say this right with my whole heart. And don't take this wrong. I have no problem. And I say not one problem. Getting a food box. Get as long as that shit is meet the expiration is before the expiration date, I'm okay.
I
All right, all
get
right.
yelled at for it because I just naturally been that way. My situation is bad, but somebody has it worse, and that food can go to them. I'll make it work. I can go get ramen noodles and eggs, and that's a whole freaking meal, you know.
Oh, no, hold them price. Um, so here's my thing real quick. I got to try to get my son's coming in. What apologies do you? And we already talked about what apologies do you think you need from your parents,
I
and
don't.
what apologies do you think you need to give your children?
I I don't need apologies from my parents, and I've apologized to my children for trying to raise them while being a semen collector.
Mm,
um, I got my priorities mixed up um, because I didn't have self identity without a relationship.
mhm.
And so I've started to make my amends with my kids, and I've got really good relationships with them now.
So I love that. With me, I don't need no apologies from my parents. I don't need none at all. I am at a place now where I am comfortable with our relationship. My mom passed, so with my dad, I'm comfortable with it. I forgive anybody who have ever done anything negative to me in my family. I forgive you. I will move on from it. I won't forget it, but I would. I do it for me because I got to move on from it. If I hold on to it, I'm gonna be an evil person. So I release any negative energy towards anybody who ever done anything negative to me, said anything negative to me, avoided me, abandoned me. We are cool. And it took me a long time to get to that place where I'm great.
A miracle is just waking up, so she's going to be making her dolphin cries in the back.
It's fine. It's fine. You know how I feel. You know, like, I keep it real. Um, what else we got? What else we got? I got a couple more questions. Oh, okay. Ooh, now you don't got sons, right? You just have daughters, right?
I have two boys, but I gave them up for adoption.
Okay, okay. Do you think? I know now that's a whole nother story we're gonna talk about later, but that's enough. All right. Anyway, um, why do you think we tease young boys for being feminine? I got you. I'm gonna answer the question while you handle your business. Um, one thing I do think that we tease young boys for being feminine because we don't want to think that our son's gonna. And I'm being honest, as honest as I can. We don't want to think that our son's gonna be gay or our son's gonna be a sense like I guess what they say sissy or whatever. So we do tease our young boys because we want it to be manly man. But I do feel like we need to be able to allow them to. I ain't gonna say I want my sons to be able to be comfortable with allowing themselves to have emotions. I want my sons to be comfortable with allowing them to look to say that I can't hold it together as a man. I need to break down sometime because building up this wall as a man is hard. Especially as an adult. I realize this now as an adult that being trying to be hard your whole life, it gotta breaks down after a while. And I remember when I got sick, and I told you before in your show that I had a cancer scare. And when I started, I remember I allowed myself, I cried in front of somebody one day. And I got so damn mad at myself because I felt like that's not the manly thing to do. You got to hold it together. And I remember I used to get so mad, like for my wife to see me cry because I cried alone when I was younger. I always cried alone. And when I went out in public, I was strong. So I had to get out of my head that it's not soft to show your emotions. Now I don't like showing it all the time. I tell my sons, you ain't got to cry for every damn thing, but it's okay to release it when you need to release it. And I tell them that.
Because we have so many gender assignments, I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, baby. It's fine.
Because
she got a young daughter, y'all.
We gender assign, so they see emotion as a feminine trait. And I would just like to remind everybody that we all started the same way without a gender. So, emotions are part of who we all are.
Mm-hmm. Do you think? I know. Do you think? The last question I'm gonna ask. So that's this one. The last question I'm gonna ask, and this right here is gonna end the show. My last question is: give yourself. Can you give yourself? Not give yourself. Tell yourself what is something that you're proud of, and can you give yourself an affirmation?
Through all of the abuse, through all of the trauma, through everything else, you never lost sight of love. You never gave up on it. You still believe in the fairy tale, even though reality shows you that people are jerks. You're amazing. You are the epitome of a testimony. You are a walking light, and you have a true purpose here, and it's to help people see that they need a safe space so they know that they're valuable enough to love too.
Still love that. The advice I give myself is, Eric, you done the damn thing. You had a goal set out for your life. Life ain't over, but things can change. But you worked your ass off to get to where you at. And if you don't feel like nobody else is proud of you are. I'm damn so proud of myself. I am proud of me. I've seen my struggles. I'm aware of my struggles. I've had days where I cried. I have days where I got mad. I have days I want to fight. But I am here, and I've done a damn thing for myself. I'm happy for me. I ain't no millionaire. I don't got just big fancy cars and shit. I ain't got none of that. But I am here. I'm able to. I tell everybody I'm fat now because I'm able to eat. But I like that because I'm here now. An affirmation for myself is, Eric, keep growing, keep striving to be better. Keep striving every day to be better than who you was yesterday. That's an affirmation for myself. Every day, get better at being you. Get better at accepting the things you can't change. Get better at loving your family. Get better at loving your wife. Get better at loving these boys, even though they get on your damn nerves. Get better at loving them. Get better at loving who you see in that mirror every damn day. With the glasses, without the glasses, get better into loving you. That's my affirmation for myself. So I'm gonna end this right here. Goddess, let me say this right here. I know you like doing your goddess seat, and I'm gonna take over the date. Damn it, I'm gonna take over your goddess seat right now. Goddess, let me say this right here. You are hands down a wonderful person. You are hands down a survivor. You are hands down. I'm saying this way, not survivor, but You're hands down just an all around good person. Your situations don't make you. Your situations don't make you who you are.
That is very true.
Overcoming those situations is who made you you. The able that you can still find love, the able that you can still find light in people, the fact that you can still find a genuine connection regardless of how bad things look on the outside shows who you really are.
I
You
appreciate
are
that.
you are the flower in the concrete. So you need to realize that, accept that, and love that. Goddess, I'm gonna tell you this right here. If nobody tells you, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are beautiful, you are wonderful. And whatever you do from this day forward, it's gonna be greatness. Don't let shit knock you down. Do like you always done. You pick your ass up and you kept on moving.
Every day. Every day. And I truly appreciate that. Thank you.
So that's my goddess hot seat. I want you to feel the emotion this time. I want you to cry. Damn it, you got me all in my feelings last damn time. Don't you give me that shit back. That was my shit. All right. All right, goddess, man. Look, man. This is right here. It's the start of my season 5. And look, man, I just want to have them in-depth conversation. Goddess, where everybody know how everybody can reach you, your podcast, and learn more about you.
I am on all streaming platforms. Transparency Tuesday will be starting in July, which is my full episode of Transparency. And then I'm going to be doing some unhinged episodes as well.
Okay. Like you said, you can find Goddess on all platforms, man. She's coming hard. She's gonna come strong, and she's ready to do the damn thing, man. I've seen her interviews. Y'all gonna enjoy yourself. And she talking this mother Earth tone, but you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy her. As for me, I am your little big brother, Eric G. You can find me on all platforms. What I said, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Damn it, you name it, I'm on it. Hey, y'all, man. Also, check out my YouTube channel where you can find this episodes and plus many more from prior seasons. I just thank y'all, man. I appreciate everything. And like I always say, God bless you. Peace. I'm gonna get some music playing. I gotta get out. I can't finish this show without some music. I gotta get some music playing. I want something to keep us hype. So I can find it. Is this the one? Come on, damn it, play. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm always suck when it comes to this damn technical stuff. Hold on. You can turn my volume up. Always hoping for the worst, waiting for me to fuck up. You know what? When I'm trying to keep the drama free.